Hello everyone, this is Friday Wolf Dog. I am using Dax today. In today's video, I will be sharing my experience and knowledge of how I planned my vacation, hoping that I would teach you guys a thing or two of how to plan your next vacation. So I started traveling beginning around 2024, and I've been traveling to not only just furry conventions, but also to different places for the past 2 years. And I have learned so much through those experiences. So rather if you're going to your next furry con, want to see a friend or a family member from a distance, or even just want to just get away for a weekend vacation, I will be sharing of how I would plan my trips. It doesn't have to be just furry convention, seeing your loved ones, or just getting for a vacation for a weekend, which that's usually what my purpose usually is. It could be other reasons, such as a sporting event, to another con that may be taking place, or even just a business overall. That's the way you have to go somewhere. But other than that, and I hope you enjoy this video, and we're gonna get started. So first thing, and the most important thing, is to always plan ahead. I usually do this a lot. Every time if there's an event going on, or I have planned to see a friend, or even if my family member wants to go somewhere, I usually plan these trips ahead. And I usually get that started with number one step. You need to picture how you're going to get there and how everything's going to play before you even get started booking. That way you get to an idea of how you're going to get there and what resources you need in order to book everything. So either you need to get a flight, take a bus there, or locally, you could just drive there because it's close to you to get from point A to point B. For example, I would use some of the footage that I did recently for a person that's close to me wanted to go to Las Vegas, and show you how I actually planned for this trip in order for us to stay there for the weekend. In this case, as I'm getting prepared to go to Las Vegas, we both want to take a plane there. We rather just go to the plane there because it's much easier, quicker than just take a car and get there. So in that case, I need to do research on a plane. I do this by actually picturing myself how my vacation will look like and the purpose behind it. This would give me an idea of how much money I would spend or what to expect when I go to these trips. So for example, the Las Vegas trip is just a weekend, and I'm not planning to spend that much money, and I will only be there for a few days until I had to come back home and go back to work afterwards. Having that in mind, wanting to get there the cheapest way possible, I'm gonna have to look for ways to find a really cheap hotel, flight, and because this person I'm going with wants a rental car, I have to look for a rental car too. With that piled up with the things I need for this trip, my research begins. Always do research before booking anything. Know your purpose and how your budget will fit to your needs. If you're planning to go to a sporting event or a furry con, for example, expect to spend a lot of money because there'll be high demand of people wanting to go to that spot, want to take that spot, wants to go there, and it will get crowded, it will get chaotic. It's fine if you want to go there and willing to spend a lot of money, but always find what is fit to your budget. Always do research. If it's a certain event at a specific date that you know is going to take place, always book 6 to 1 year ahead. That way, the price doesn't go up, and most of the time, it will get full to the point where you can't even book anymore because there's no more room. So always book ahead. If you're one of those travelers who just want to get it for a weekend, or trying to get a hotel but it's just flexible, that's where you're choosing a date comes in handy. Because you don't need a specific date to be at a certain spot, you just want to just get away for the weekend. Take this advantage of trying to look for the cheapest dates that you could travel so that you could save money and make more time out of it. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because the weekend that we chose happened to take place on the end of February, because that's when people are less likely to travel. I was quite shocked to see there was not that much people at airports. There was less people even in Las Vegas. And because of that, it was flexible. A lot of things was cheap. And also, because there was not that much people around, it was really relaxing, and then they didn't have to worry about crowds and stuff. It was actually pretty good. It was actually great. So with that in mind, plan your dates, and begin your research. As you're doing your research, the question is, how or where do I book? That's where like certain programs like Expedia, Booking.com, Priceline, or Hotel.com. Sometimes you can actually choose to book directly to hotels and airlines, or buying a bundle. It's so much cheaper than actually booking directly through airlines and car rentals or hotels. Another thing I will always recommend is always check the hotel's website before you book any other program. Not just a hotel, but also airlines and car rental. And the reason I say that is because sometimes when you check a hotel's website, they offer a lot of great deals. So they, like I said, they might offer cheaper than what the website offers. Hotels will even have bundles depending on what kind of hotel you stay. But it's always best to do proper research, because as a matter of fact, this year at Aleksandar, when I was going through some hotels I have there, I had a friend who lives in Pennsylvania. Of course, he's the same person that was with me from last year, Tribe. He found a hotel that was a lot cheaper than if I would have booked through Expedia. So for example, as this Las Vegas trip I mentioned earlier, I was staying at the Strap. Of course, I chose the Strap because it was the cheapest but well-known hotel or resort that I've been to. Do you know that if you book through the Strap website, you actually get a $100 worth of food for free if you get a renovated room, standard or higher? That's something to keep in mind, because you might find great deals or offers if you do your research. Another thing is always double check about the refund policy and the policies in general, because during our trip there, when I was booking for Spirit, our ticket then came with carry-on, which that's something I did not plan to bring with me because it was just a weekend. But if you do plan to bring carry-on, they charge you a lot of money just to bring a carry-on, and I don't think it's worth spending like $70 for a carry-on to come just to bring to Las Vegas with me. Whereas if I did Delta, for example, they charge you like $30 for a carry-on and stuff. So it's not even that bad. So always double check, and also make sure you do look deep into refundable policies or non-refundable policies, because sometimes things could happen in a way. If you want to get travel insurance, you could, but the thing is that you spend a little more money. You could not get travel insurance, but if something happens, it would come up from your pockets, which that would lead me to another topic. Always bring extra money with you. I'm not saying to bring cash, like maybe it's a good idea to have some cash, but at least have a certain amount of money with you in your bank account just in case something does happen during the way. And it's a good idea to always carry extra money, because sometimes things happen. For example, just during this Las Vegas trip, I was hit with surprise fees when I was getting my rental car, which kind of made me upset because I didn't expect that, because I bought it with a bundle. Worst case scenario, this one time, as when I was at Las Vegas FurCon 2025, I booked a blue-green 36 hotel, and it was just a 10-minute walk to Aleksandar Park. And even though it was just a 10-minute walk, it was just to get there back. During this one time, I have a friend that was with me. Of course, his name is Trix, or Trixler. Trix and I were just hanging out, walking down the street, until all of a sudden we were being followed by this suspicious individual, which I didn't feel safe because of that. And luckily, Trix and I got to Alexa safe, because there was a lot of people, the person lost interest following us. But it's the fact that Las Vegas is not the safest place to go. I ended up taking an Uber. Thankfully, my parents are willing to offer Uber for me. But if I'm on my own and stuff like that, I would have to spend my own money to take Lyft or Uber just to get to places safe. Or you always carry extra money just in case if you need food or survival needs. Even if your flight gets canceled or something happens, it's always best to have extra money in your bank account where you can actually use it rather than to wait for a refund. The thing that hit me hard during this Las Vegas trip was the car rental place. Because this was new to me about renting cars and stuff, I got experience renting budget, and assuming that all rental cars were going to do that, that's usually my mistake. I was hit with a lot of surprise fees. I was forced to pay extra money just to get insurance and all this crazy stuff that ends up making me pay over $300 more just to actually have a car. And to make matters worse, in Nevada, there's certain areas where you could actually park for free just for having a Nevada license plate. And I thought that every car rental in Nevada would have a lot of Nevada license plates. But for some reason, I got Utah license plate, which it didn't bring any benefit because now we have to pay extra just to go to these parking areas and go to areas and locations in Las Vegas. I know because I have a friend that lives in Las Vegas and it's just that bad. It's always best to have extra cash with you just in case stuff like that happens. Before you actually go to this trip, do research of the location you are going to. Because in the strap, even though the strap inside looks nice, there's things you can do at Las Vegas here and there. Las Vegas is not really the safest place to be, I would say. It's not safe. It's not something you could go out and do whatever you want. It's actually kind of like suspicious area where, for example, I'm going to show some footage of the strap that I was staying. As you can see, there was the strap, even though the strap itself looks nice, it was surrounded by like ghetto place. The roads doesn't look safe. I didn't feel safe being out there, especially during the night. There was actually some sketchy people walking around. That's something you need to be aware of. And the area doesn't look safe. So knowing that, it's important to always do research of the area you're going to. And even if you do go to a safest place in the world, you still need to take extra precaution about the places you go because you're not familiar with that place. The best way you can actually do this is actually go to Google Maps and look around the area so you can actually get familiar with the area, get an idea, do some research, look at other people's reviews. YouTube videos can also help where you get an idea of how safe a certain place could be and take extra precaution. But even if you do go to a safe place, always be prepared and be cautious of your surroundings. And by the time that I book everything, now the trip is come close and eventually you're all gonna get all excited, all get packed up and get on and hit the road and actually make your way to the destination you chose, which in this case, Las Vegas is for me. However, once I book all my trips, as the day goes by, the day finally comes, I pack up my stuff and make my way to the airport. I always highly suggest to always leave early so that you don't have to miss your flight, or if something happens, like I said, there's an accident during the freeway to like long lines at the airport unexpectedly. It's always best to get there ahead of time so that you don't have to rush yourself, because you don't want to be late to certain events and stuff, or you don't want to just arrive late only to be delayed longer just because you got there late. So once we got to the airport and flying away to Las Vegas, it's time to get to the hotel. We got our rental car and made our way to the strap. We booked it and we went into the room. And the room we stayed was actually a renovated standard room at the strap. And to be honest here, it does look really nice. This was actually my first time booking a renovated room. And I'm not gonna lie, I really like the style and the blue everywhere, because blue is my first favorite color. I really did like it, but the problem with this room is that there was a lot of wear and tear in the room. There was some equipment was like falling apart, not like falling apart, but like wanted to fall apart. There was like some items that looked really old, didn't look nice, and that's the problem with the room. One thing you should always do once you get to your room, I highly suggest, is to always check your room around. Make sure everything is not damaged, make sure everything works. Always check your room. Because I have found incidents where I found damaged equipment and stuff that is not my fault, and if I did not notify the staff, they charge you because they assume that you're the cause of that damage. Take pictures. Always double check your room. If you do happen to find damaged items, always notify the staff immediately. Don't wait until the end of the trip, or don't wait until you leave. Hotels will always take an additional fee from you, which is why I said to always bring extra cash with you just in case, but they always give it back to you unless you found any damages in your room. Always let them know the damages and things you find in there if you happen to do so. That's when it's always a good idea to record your room too, as well, to show that everything was good condition before and after you leave. Once you finally set in your room, you can finally unpack, relax, and enjoy the rest of your trip. So as you're coming to the end of your trip, I always highly suggest that the day before you leave, always double check your schedule. Check your flight schedule. Check when you have to return the car. Make sure you get an idea of what time you have to wake up in order to be prepared for what is to come. Yes, I know it's a burdensome thought to think of, but the reason why I do it is because I want to make sure I am 100% sure I plan things ahead rather than get right there late or end up oversleeping or having misinformation of my schedule only to turn out that I had to get there earlier. You do not want to put yourself in that stress. So I usually do this the day before, like in the morning, double check my schedule before I continue on my rest of the trip. And once I get the idea, I feel more comfortable, plan out how I'm going to go back home, have everything all set, and then just enjoy the rest of the trip until that time comes. Once that time does come, always double check to make sure you have all your belongings. You have everything together, everything's all packed. Usually for me, I always like to check the room 2 or 3 times before you leave. Make sure you take evidence to show that you didn't damage anything, just to make sure. And then from there, you just head home. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. It is something that I just want to do personally, just because it's just something that I like to do. I love to travel. I like to have fun being in my fursuit. Or hopefully you guys learned a thing or two from this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm doing something different with this channel, so hopefully I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys leave a like, subscribe if you guys want more stuff like this. And I'm thinking of making this channel into more of a travel vlog more often, and maybe some script of furry things. And I'm still gonna go to cons depending on the situation, but other than that, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.